everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of The Worst Talk Show.
Who'da thunk it?
I'm your most excellent co-host, DJ Angie C, and that is handsome boyfriend Dave.
Nice to meet you.
Together, we're bringing you mediocre content and shenanigans, tomfoolery, as well as a plethora.
Don't forget Ballyhoo.
Ballyhoo. Bedbugs and?
Ballyhoo.
A plethora of recommendations.
Because we live such perfect lives. We know you want to emulate them.
We don't have perfect lives, but what we do have is a pandemic and a very healthy streaming service situation.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, I've been having a little trouble with my stream lately.
Sean O'Brien is already here, and Nikki T, best shirt ever, not you, Dave. Well, I am wearing the Nicole Tammaro photography shirt, which, by the way, I have not been able to fit into since Nikki T gave it to me, because it's the ladies' t-shirt.
Somebody's showing off her hourglass figure.
Yes, I now suddenly have an hourglass, which is very excited.
Luckily, my Rumble t-shirt is football shaped.
And Nikki T, Nicole Tammaro, is our special guest tonight at 8 o'clock.
Oh, so special.
So we're very excited, and heavy emphasis on tonight's show for music, specifically local music. And Nicole Tammaro has shot almost all your favorite bands with her camera.
Oh, thank God.
As well as she is just an enormous music supporter, definitely local music supporter.
Almost single-handedly.
Like keeping everybody fed and alive at this point. She's buying CDs and merchandise from bands who are obviously not able to perform right now. And we will talk about our little date with Nikki T last weekend, where we got to go to a new local record store and collectibles. Little jaunt.
A boutique,
literally takes us 1 minute to walk there. Sam Avola, hello. Sam, you cooked some stuff over the weekend. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that you took photos of, but it all looked ridiculously delicious, and I wanted it all. And I can't wait to have you on and do our little cooking segment. We're definitely going to do that soon, soon, soon.
Hello, Holly Cantor. How are you?
So we're going to talk about stuff to watch, and then we're getting into a huge what to listen to segment. We've got brand new music from the Boss Tones that was released this week. Brand new music from Boston hip hop artist Slain, who you may also recognize as an actor. He's been in a few films, but most
he was in The Town.
The Town is probably the biggest role.
He was the wheelman in The Town.
Hey, Vicky Salapande, I noticed you got some seasonings in the mail today, and I'm gonna want to talk to you about those a little bit later, because Dave doesn't know this, but I bought a seasoning without his knowledge or permission, and it's coming in the mail, and I'm going to sort of confess what it is later in the food segment. So there's that. Yeah, because I think you're going to make fun of me, and you're going to love making fun of me. So it's great.
It's fun.
So we're going to get right into stuff that we watch, because we really have a lot of music stuff to get to. Not only these new releases, which are amazing, but a little special treasure trove was released, or at least happened upon this week.
Man, it was cool singing along.
So as most of you know, I worked for the legendary WFNX in the 90s. And Dwayne Bruce, who used to be on at nights, at first he was on overnights, Radio Free Boston, and then he ended up doing just a regular night shift with it. He sort of graduated up, if you will. But when he was doing overnights, I think I was in high school and college, and I would stay up late with headphones on and listen to his entire show.
Yep.
He was playing the most amazing music on terrestrial radio in the late 80s and early 90s. And then at like 2 a.m., he would go into tip top hip hop, which was just like, you would hear Public Enemy and just
they
stuff
weren't
you
edited,
couldn't
right?
hear
If
anywhere.
I remember correctly, there was no editing.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. So he, somebody in La Volta happened upon this particular Radio Free Boston first anniversary show, because Dwayne is a pack rat, and he has saved everything, and he has archived some of FNX's biggest moments, including the Nirvana show at Man Ray. I don't know how he got the board recording from that, but he did, and he's posted it, and it's phenomenal. He also did the intro to that show at Man Ray. So we went down a huge rabbit hole, and there's a live segment from Bullet Volta. So lots of stuff to talk about music wise. Holly says, wait, you were on FNX, Angie? You know, there are some people tuning in that may not know that. I'm just saying. Although
So silly.
I did have a brilliant idea a few days ago. I decided to start typing up a wish list, a bigger wish list of guests. Our first 3 wishes came true, which was Casey Riddles, Sean O'Brien, and TJ Connolly. And tonight, another wish coming true. I was hesitant to ask Nikki because, as you know, this live stream gets packaged and then goes out on the community access television airwaves all over the greater Massachusetts area.
How does it get packaged again?
Packaged. And the problem is that we can't swear, because if we swear, then our minions have to do editing, and it's a lot more work, and they don't get paid much or anything. So I was like, Nikki, can you do it and not swear? She's like, of course I can. Of course I can do that. And I was like, all right. Because we love Nikki, and she's been a huge supporter of the show since day one. So we're excited to have her on. Doug McCormick, packages. Sean O'Brien, the Muffs. I don't know. What were we talking about?
Were they on the FNX?
Oh God, yeah. The Fort Apache with the Muffs. I'm sure Dwayne has that. Yes, absolutely. And oddly enough, the Fort Apache series, that studio is going to come up in our conversation later with music as well. So there you go. Nikki T, it will be like going on a job interview. I love it. You're going to be on your best behavior, kid, but not too best behavior, right? We still need the real Nikki T.
Yeah, we don't want no squares on the show. You know what I'm saying?
So, all right, let's get to one of the movies that we watched that we had to tell you about. And I was like, I was very suspect of this movie. Dave decided to watch it without my sort of permission or knowledge. And then I came in and started watching it with you, and I was like, oh, you're right, this is great. And the movie is The Tax Collector. With Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf is in it.
Who's not exactly Hollywood sweetheart anymore. No,
but he plays a good character. His character is called Creeper, and he is he's an essay. I mean, he's down with the tax collector. Him and his partner. He works for a gang, LA street gang above the gangs.
Yes.
That actually takes from all the gangs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's his job to go around and collect the money.
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool take.
Whoever wrote it also directed it.
George Lopez is in it.
Very gritty. Jimmy Smits is in it.
Oh yeah,
and it's extremely violent. But what I liked is one of the most violent characters, if not the most violent character, is a hot chick.
Yeah.
Like that a lot, like the little reversal role play stuff going on there. I thought it was it's an indie flick. I really enjoyed it.
It's worth a look.
It's worth it. The Tax Collector.
Yep. That's a 2 thumbs up.
I finally finished Ray Donovan. Almost had a coronary when they're talking about, they referred to a roller coaster, and they referred to the characters grew up in Boston. And they start talking, well, don't throw up like you did at Kenobi.
Oh,
so they're referring.
Say it again.
They're referring to Canopy Lake Park, but the character says Kenobi.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Kenobi Park.
A glaring mistake.
I wanted to stab somebody. I wanted to throw things at my television. Who is the dialect advisor on this show? Because they need to be fired, and I need to get that job.
Whoever it is, I'd like to meet them at Center Ice at the Worcester Centrum and fight them to the death.
But I was a little upset because they didn't really package everything neatly away, like because the series was canceled. But I think they're going to bring it back and maybe on a different network. So here's hoping. But seriously, call me. I'll let you know that we don't say Shaw. When we say sure, we say sure. Like You want me to get that
Yeah,
for you?
they're not like,
Sure, I'll get
yeah,
that for
sure.
you. They say Shaw, and I'm like, no.
No, sure.
Just
no.
little things here and there, just
Sure.
not right, and it drives me insane.
Yeah.
So there
Like
we go.
if you were on fire,
yeah,
you wouldn't be on fire.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, seriously, and the Turkish twist. What was your favorite ride on Canopy Lake Park? I mean, the roller coaster was sort of world famous at one point.
Yeah, the new one is the log ride there. What is that big? The big one?
Oh, the Flume or whatever.
No, yeah,
I don't know what it's called,
yeah.
but it's insane.
It's some sort of reference to maybe like a colonial
yes,
ship
it
or
is.
something
yes,
like that.
it is. And if you stand in a certain place, you get soaked.
If you stand within like 100 feet of it, you get
great.
soaked.
Is it called the Galaxy? No, that's not. Oh, the roller coaster might have been called the Galaxy at one point. I don't know. But we all grew up going to Canopy Lake Park, and in no way is it Kenobi Kid. So please stop with that already. I also had to get my supernatural fairies, witches, werewolves, vampires on. There's a brand new series on Netflix that's #1 on Netflix for like the last 2 weeks, and it's called Fate: The Winx Saga, which is based on an animated series from a few years ago. So a girl finds out she's a fairy.
Oh my God, a girl has secret powers and she didn't realize it?
I torture Dave with these shows. So I watched it by myself. 8 episodes. Definitely worth it if you're into that kind of crap.
All right, speaking of watching things by yourself,
is it called the Boston Tea Party, Joe Burke? I don't think
it might be.
Is it?
I don't know. Could be.
Casey Riddle's biggest memory from Canopy Lake Park, chafing. Yep.
So look, The Midnight Sky, guys. George Clooney stars in, directs.
Is that a Netflix as well?
It's on one of those things where it comes through the television on one of those stations.
Platform, but I thought
it was Netflix, but
I was told by several people it was a total bummer, so I avoided it.
No, I'm telling you right now, there's a bit of the Omega Man in it. Things aren't looking good on Earth, and any minute the world's gonna pretty much come to an end.
Yeah, that sounds like a totally feel good.
But I will tell you this. It's worth a look, and it's a fun. It's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
But it's heartwarming at the end, and there's hope. There's hope, guys.
Moving on. I also watched the new series Flack, which you may have seen heavily promoted on your Twitter feed, or maybe that's just me. It's on Prime, and it stars Anna Paquin, and it's sort of like Sex and the City meets Ray Donovan, kind of, where they're PR people, but they're really kind of fixers. And they come into situations where somebody has messed up royally, a celebrity, and they figure out a way to fix it. Very well, the dialogue super like snappy, fast, and funny. But overall, it was just kind of like, kind of like when
was
you
it
go.
Meh?
It was. It's how when you eat really good Chinese food and then you're hungry again an hour later. That's Flack. So there you go.
No,
good Sunday afternoon binge. Dave also made me watch the show Strike, which is a couple years old.
Aren't you glad?
British private detective kind of show.
Different little bent on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the Royal Marines.
Yep.
He's lost a limb.
Yep.
Son of a rock star.
The main character is played by the actor who played Orson Welles in Mank.
His name is Tom Burke.
And he also starred in the British version of Utopia. So it was right up our alley,
yep.
right in our wheelhouse. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. I see that Nikki T has entered the green room early. We're very happy.
There she is.
She's punctual, that Nikki T. So she will be coming up right at 8 o'clock. Also, we started A Brave New World, which you may have seen a lot of publicity for as well. It stars the kid who played Han Solo in the worst Star Wars movie ever.
But don't hold it against him.
Solo. And Demi Moore.
As his mother.
And the weird guy from Counterpart. That movie we
yeah,
watched where there were two different...
Weasley guy, the husband. Yes.
He's sort of the not quite handsome version of the guy that plays Loki. What's that guy's name?
Tom Hiddleston?
Yes. He's sort of the creepy, not so attractive version of Tom Hiddleston. And it's based on the book
By Aldous Huxley.
Brave New World. I don't know that I want to watch anymore. We watched like the first episode. I don't know if I'm going to come back.
I'm
honestly.
down with anything that's like dystopian, utopian, you know, apocalyptic. I'm pretty much down with that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like my vampire fairy witch thing.
Fair enough.
My version.
Fair enough. Casey Riddle says, Sweet Home on Netflix is pretty crazy if you like Korean horror, apocalypse, monster type stuff. Well, that would be all this guy right here.
I have yet to watch The Host. I got to watch that, the Korean movie, The Host. It's got the dad from Parasite in it as one of the main characters.
How interesting. Parasite, The Host.
Right.
Makes you think. I'm
Oh,
very
no, wait.
excited.
We've watched, real quick, we watched The Watch.
Yeah, we're still watching The Watch. AMC Plus, I believe.
We're getting ready to have our Orphan Black tattoos done.
I think we're on season 3 now.
It's pretty, she's amazing.
Yeah, she really is.
I'm in love with her.
Every time you think it's going to zig, it zags. It's a great show to binge. Yeah. I mean, top shows of all time to binge are things like The Wire, if you've never seen that, or The Sopranos.
Oh, I knew you were going to say The Sopranos.
By the way, there's a Sopranos prequel coming out on HBO Max next year. And it's going to have all the characters, younger versions of them, which may be great. It's David Chase, but it may also be terrible. It'll be interesting. And I can't wait. Maybe we'll have Nikki review it for us. Because I imagine that, you know, as a paisan, she's going to have a very interesting take on a Sopranos prequel. I want to get to just our first music thing before we bring Nikki on, because we do have a few minutes. The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Mighty Mighty Mighty
Boss Tones. We were very sad that we didn't get to throw down at the annual hometown throwdown this year.
For my birthday. They throw it every year on my birthday.
It is a huge tradition since Dave and I first met, when he found out that I was a Boss Tone fan and that he was also a fan, but had never seen them live because he was busy raising 3 boys and had never gone to a show. As soon as we were together, I'm like, okay, your birthday's December 27th. There we go. New tradition. Every year we go to the throwdown for your birthday.
And the first year we went, Angie found out that I sing along as Dickie. And the way I got my voice that way was screaming at those 3 boys.
Yeah, that was a little interesting to deal with the first time that happened. He started singing along at the top of his lungs to the Boss Tone songs as Dickie Barrett. So and listen, a part of me wanted to crawl inside myself.
If anything ever happens to
die.
Dickie, and I don't wish that, Dickie, we love you. We love you.
Yeah.
But if anything ever happens, hey.
So the reason I bring up the hometown throwdown, because everybody missed it this year, their new first single, The Last Parade, is basically the an entire best of hometown throwdown on one record.
So many groups.
It's everybody is on here. So the new album is coming out on Hellcat Records, which is Tim Armstrong's label through Epitaph, which is a really big deal, in my opinion. So Tim Armstrong is featured on the song. All of the Interrupters, and Amy Interrupter you can hear, you know, from the very beginning. Angelo from Fishbone, Jake Burns from Stiff Little Fingers, Rodney Radiation from The Specials, Jimmy G from Murphy's Law. We make holes in teeth. It's pretty much everybody you've ever seen at a throwdown. There are members of Bim Scala Bim.
Dan Vital.
Yeah, Less Than Jake, Big D and the Kids Table, H2O, Suicide Machines, Buck 09, the Porkers, the Doped Up Dollies, the Agrolites, Spring Heeled Jack, and I'm sure I'm missing like 10 other people.
How many songs is this?
This is one song, and it's a good song, but it's 7 minutes long, so be prepared. And I'm sure the album comes out very soon, and you can probably pre-order it as well. But it is going to be on Hellcat Records. The Big Rig, which is Big Rig is the Boss Tone's own imprint, is on there as well. And it's going to be distributed by Epitaph, which is really great. So I'm very, very excited, and I hope you guys all listen. I did post it, but I will post it again in the links tomorrow as well. We did want to get to a little bit of the Dwayne Bruce, and then I want to bring Nikki on because we're like 10 minutes early before her slated time slot.
What is it? Are you getting nervous with her staring at us?
She looks super cute.
She's like, hey guys, what's going on?
I feel like we should just bring her on now. Should we just bring her on early?
I don't know. Now,
should we break tradition? She says no. Okay.
Okay.
We'll wait for 8 o'clock. So the other big sort of Boston music scene release that really got me excited this week is Boston hip hop artist Slain, who's also an actor. Like Dave said, you've seen in The Town. He was the ambulance driver. He has a new album coming out, and the single is called Chasing Ghosts. And he posted the video the other day on Instagram, and it is just a phenomenal song. This is the most, according to him, this is the most personal album he's ever made. And the single Chasing Ghosts is about somebody who is involved with an active addict, being in a romantic relationship with somebody who's an active addict, hence Chasing Ghosts. It hit me right in the feels. Definitely been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. The record is phenomenal, and it was recorded and the video was shot at the Bridge Studios. And if you guys know your Boston recording studio history, the Bridge Sound and Stage is located in the footprint of the old Fort Apache studios in Cambridge. Now, I realize there was another Fort Apache before that, but I'm talking about the one during its huge heyday in Cambridge. So that gave me even more nostalgia. And heads up to Sam Avola, Jonathan Ullman plays drums on the track. You know Jonathan from Still Gold. He's the drummer. He's also won like 1 million BMI Best Session Musician BMAs for the last like 6 years. Arthur Hudson, hello, Arthur.
See, I was waiting to say hi to Arthur, but I was waiting until you finished. So.
All right, you go ahead and say hi.
Hi, Arthur. How are you?
So it was produced by The Archetype. It features Right Hook, and the video is gorgeous, and I will post the link. The album is called The Things We Can't Forgive. It is out February 12th. I will post the link to that as well. I've always liked Slain. I always liked the look of him, and I liked the sound of his music, but was never, just never a sit down, listen to, 1 million songs by Slain. But I'm telling you, I think this album is going to be a big album for him, and this single really just powerful. I guess
I liked him since Gone Baby Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Avola says, and Arc on piano. Yes, that's right. Sam, do you happen to know who played guitar? Was that Right Hook, or was Right Hook singing? Because I'm not sure I got everybody on the song. Yep, Camp Street. Just a nice little, I've been very into the nostalgic stuff lately. So
apparently,
it was nice to
Still
see
Gold or Casey Rose voice.
Yes, Still Gold. Well, Still Golds are also Sam Avola's voice. So.
Well, we know that.
Didn't we hang out with one of them at one of Sam's
parties?
A couple times. Soirees. He's kind of like an unofficial son to Sam, I believe.
Wow.
One of the members of Still Gold. So, RH singing backup. Oh, okay, got it.
All right.
Right Hook singing backup. That's what I thought. Just curious who the guitar player is, because the acoustic guitar in there is very well done, I thought.
Yeah, it's classical guitar.
Yeah. Chasing Ghosts, Slain, go listen to it, go buy it, pre-order the album. It's definitely worth it. We also wanted to swing back to Dwayne Bruce. And so I had this idea. I've been adding to our wish list of guests. And I've decided, and of course I haven't talked to anybody yet, but I've decided that we're going to do an FNX alumni series. And I'm going to beg and plead and borrow and steal.
Tase. Whatever we need to do.
Some of my fellow FNX DJs come on and we'll talk about some stuff. And I definitely want to have Dwayne Bruce on. Dwayne has a radio show now called American Debauchery, which is great. He also wrote a book called Hang the DJ. But one of the things I love about his SoundCloud is that he's got all these old FNX shows from the 80s and from the 90s. And this particular one was the first year anniversary of Radio Free Boston. It was 1991. And not only do you get to hear all the music and Bolt Volta in the studio live, but you also get to hear the promos from 1991.
Oh man,
and
Alston Beach.
Yeah, there's like an ad for the Paradise, Dead Milkmen playing 2 shows, you know, and then there's like another episode had David Bowie, you know, live at whatever, doing all the hits, and you were just like, oh my God. And Peter Murphy at Avalon. I was like, I was at that show. Yeah. So you just listen and you're immediately time traveling, and it's so wonderful.
U2, the Zoo TV tour, coming back to Sullivan Stadium.
And so they open it up with Bolt La Volta playing live, and Yucky Gipe and he are having little conversations or whatever. And they start off the set with an ode and a shout out to Stiv Bators, because I think Stiv had just passed away. And they play Sonic Reducer by the Dead Boys. And it's just so good. It's so good. And you're just like totally into it. So I think the FNX Alumni Series may be born just out of that one instance alone. And we listened to some other shows because I couldn't wait. And Dave got home and I'm like, listen to this. And wait, listen to this.
So we sat and we were singing together, you know? And then it was like, stuff was coming out of my brain.
Yeah.
I'm like,
all
Crush Story came on.
Yeah, Crush Story,
and,
Too
and
Much
I'm
Joy.
Like, Too Much Joy. And she's like, and well, like, you know, you were Shazamming it just to check. And you were like, you're right.
Not only that, but I knew all the words.
It came out of nowhere, right?
It's so crazy
yeah, exactly.
when a song comes on and suddenly
the
like
in there.
You're singing and you don't even know how you're singing. Living Color Type was a song. Jane's Addiction, Trip Away, which Dwayne used to play all the time. He had Martha Plimpton on. And there's Martha Plimpton talking about PETA and how much she was there. I remember going to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Orpheum. And I was an intern at FNX, so I had seats a few rows behind the DJs at the time. Kurt St. Thomas, Dwayne Bruce, and there's Martha Plimpton. And of course, I always loved Martha Plimpton. Like since Goonies, I loved Martha.
Do you remember the Mosquito Coast?
Yes. I do indeed.
People who saw that know what I'm speaking about.
But Bolt La Volta sounded amazing. You should check it out for that, if nothing else. But listen to the whole show. It's pretty great. When he gets to the Tip Top Hip Hop section, he starts talking about the new song from MC Spider. And I almost fell over. Because MC Spider, later to be known as Spider from Power Man 5000, aka Rob Zombie's brother, from Haverhill, Massachusetts. So it's definitely worth your time. I'm going to post all the links to all of it on from SoundCloud, so you guys can check it out as well. Casey says, wait, when she sang, did you want to crawl inside yourself? No.
No, Casey, I'm not a jerk.
Also, Tone Loc, Chiba Chiba.
Chiba. Chiba, Chiba.
Totally forgot about that
I'm
song.
in love with Mary Jane. She's my main thing. She make me feel so good. She make my heart sing.
And then Dave was like, what was the name of this record? I'm like, well, I remember it came out on Delicious Vinyl.
Loped After Dark, y'all.
Loped After Dark.
He gets loped after dark.
And raise your hand if you were a huge Power Man 5000 fan back in the day, because I so was.
Ready to go.
Loved it. I saw them at the Rat. So let's go ahead and bring Nikki on. It's just about 8 o'clock, 7:59.
Is that okay, Nikki? Can we bring you on now?
I've unmuted myself.
I just want to make sure that we have you on. Producer Kevin, can you make sure? She might be on because there's a little delay. So as soon as she pops up, I'll be very happy. Let's see. It should be coming.
Oh, it's going to come on this,
now.
huh?
This
She was in the middle of drinking something. That's
Sorry.
so cool.
Everybody, welcome Nicole Tammaro.
Nikki T in the place to be. What's
How
up,
are
hon?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we're good.
All right, we're good. We're on.
There's a nice, like, sort of orangey yellow glow.
Yeah, what do you got, like a sepia filter on, or what's the deal?
You know what I think it is? Because I have all red curtains. So I think that's,
Ah.
I like it. The ambiance is working
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, red curtains isn't that's not like code for something, right?
oh my God, get your mind out of the
I'm
gutter.
sorry.
That's the purple door, Dave.
So Nikki T did something that most people haven't been able to do, and she got Dave and I out of the house.
No dynamite involved, actually.
And we met her at a new record and collectible shop that opened up
Pleasant
across the
Village.
street. We live in Marblehead, for those of you who don't know, and it's literally a stone's throw from
We
where
actually
we
had
live.
to walk like almost a block to get
Yeah,
there.
and it was
I mean,
freezing, but we did it. Nikki, can you tell us a little bit about who owns it and maybe like how you got to know her?
Yeah, so Jamie Talia, who I guess I just keep running into at shows. Mostly at once, probably Lizard Lounge. But when you keep running into the same person over and over and over again, you're like, hey, what's going on? What's up? And then and we all have the same likes. So I guess I've known Jamie for like 5-6 years now.
And she said, didn't she work at Mystery Train back in the day as well?
So that was like so awesome about not being in a loud club, because we could actually talk. Because every time I see Jamie, it's so loud you can't,
Yeah.
3 seconds. And I'm like, hey Jamie, I'm like, where are you from? Like, what's your whole story? And yeah, she worked at Mystery Train, and she actually for like a hot minute worked with Juliana Hatfield.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had a little conversation about our girl Juliana as well. And we had to leave early so we could catch the Juliana Hatfield live broadcast from Q Division,
That was something
which
Yes.
was brilliant.
Yeah. Nice haircut too, by
That
the way.
haircut
so
was
I feel
killer.
Oh, you dig her new haircut?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gabby Lima coined the phrase. It was a combination of a mask and a scarf around her neck, because it looked like a scarf, but really it was just her pink mask.
Oh, really?
And I think she called it a mark or something. What? Now I get what was it? A scark? Or so I can't.
Was it
remember
in
now.
Portuguese or was it in English?
It was just hilarious. So,
All right.
it was great. The shop is great. It's tiny but loaded, like loaded.
Nikki, they had me when I saw R2D2 outside.
Yeah, there's an R2D2 cooler outside, just beckoning you to come in.
It's like 80s Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
It's a cooler. And it's like life-size R2D2
Yeah.
that you used to put ice and cans of Diet Pepsi. The choice of a new generation.
So you walk in and there's obviously an enormous amount of vinyl, but then there are things all over the walls. There are T-shirts,
Zines.
oh my God, so many fanzines, and the flip sides. I was going nuts. Again, just you see stuff like that. I would go into Newbury Comics once a week into Boston from Salem just to get the new flip side, so I could figure out what music it was I was going to love that week, because that's how important those magazines were before the internet. Oh God, I sound so old.
Old school toys.
Yeah, old school toys.
Jamie has,
Star Wars stuff.
she said, is she has like 3 storage containers, and instead of paying rent on 3 storage containers, it was cheaper for her to get a little storefront and just get all her crap out there. So
Kind of rotate stuff out.
Yeah.
that's what she'll be doing.
And great deals on the vinyl. And there's jewelry.
Oh, wait. Did somebody get a present? Nikki, hey, do I have a Hawkeye or what?
Yeah, he has a Hawkeye.
I found
Little Hawk.
a Slave One Boba Fett ship. It's a pendant that is die-cast metal. It's quite heavy, actually. And in the middle of a whole big case of like watches and pins and beads and rings and everything,
Yep.
I honed in on this thing and I'm like, oh my Lord. And I just happen to have just the right amount of money in my pocket.
Yeah, you did. So that was pretty great. And Nikki, just to backtrack a little, I really didn't get to know you until I moved back to Boston from LA, post-divorce 2012, when I started going back out into the music scene. But you have been out at shows and shooting live music for how long?
Well, it's actually a weird kind of funny story. Since 2015, I was like, I kind of like photography. Maybe I'll just go get a camera and start shooting stuff. I'm like, all right, what do I like? I'm like, well, I kind of like music. So I started going to rock shows and taking pictures. And rock is not the most nicest people. I'm like, oh, hey, I just shot your show. They're like, yeah, whatever, cool, whatever. I'm like, oh man, this is tough. So I was at Newbury Comic one day and going through a punk rock magazine. And some people might remember Pat Clement, FNS Pat. He lives out west now. But he had a magazine, and in it was an ad looking for photographers. I'm like, I'm a photographer. Not really. I mean, I really wasn't. I was like shooting for like a month.
Yeah, but I love that. You just did it. You just picked it up and did it.
Yeah, so I called him up. I'm like, hey, I'm a, because this is way before internet stuff, social media. So I called him, hey, I'm a photographer. I can come down and shoot your shows. He's like, all right, well, meet me at Cambridge Elk next week. There's a big punk rock show, and we could talk. And on the bill it was definitely For the Worst. Might have been Pure Impact. So I met Pat. We talked, and he's like, all right, come to this other show in 2 weeks. And it was like a big 2-day show in Cambridge. He was trying to raise money for skate park. And it was bands like, well, Slapshot was on the bill, but I think they bagged out at the last second. But the guys from Toxic Narcotic, Blue Bloods, and I reintroduced myself to the Pure Impact kids. So same situation. I go to the bands. I'm like, hey, I just shot your show. And they're like, oh my God, that's like the best thing ever. You're like the best. Can you come out to more shows? And I'm like, wow, these guys are way better. These punk guys are better than those rock guys. So I just started shooting punk. And then once you go to a show and start shooting bands, you meet all kinds of other bands, all kinds of other people. And then I just kind of spread it out between rock, a little bit of country. And then right before pandemic hit, I started shooting hip hop. And then that all kind of blew up.
Yeah, and Dutch Rebel is somebody that we both really love.
Oh yeah.
And I love, first of all, my first memories of you are being right up front and not necessarily taking photos, although I certainly saw you taking photos as well. No matter what show I was at and no matter what venue, you were up front and being supportive AF. If there were people just milling around, nobody wanted to go up front yet, like Nikki was right there. And I always loved that about you. But you have been an enormous supporter. Like, you always pick up the merch. You're always spreading the word. We saw all these CDs. So you'll buy CDs and then you download them or digitize them, if you will. And then you're like, hey, does anybody need a CD? Like, it's just amazing to me. And I have to just give you a huge, big hug, because I think at some point you're single-handedly keeping these musicians fed and alive right now. And I'm just, I love that you do that. And I can't believe that you kind of started in the scene as late as you did. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I was probably in my, late 30s, early 40s.
I love that. That's such a great story. What were you doing before that? I know you work with fish.
Listen, we weren't going to bring up the fish thing, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
You brought a halibut.
Fishmongers are people too, all right? They don't deserve the derision that they receive in society.
Well, if it wasn't for that job, I wouldn't get to do all the fun stuff.
Right.
Hey, everybody needs a solid day job. That's always been my rule. If you're going to be in any kind of creative endeavor, especially the music biz, you got to have a day job.
Nikki's always slanging that frozen fish, right? Am I right?
Yeah, it's like, it's boring. It's not.
What's the best seller this past month?
You know what? Since pandemic hit, for some crazy reason, king crab legs are selling like crazy. They're $20, $30, $40 a pound. I have no idea who's eating this stuff.
It's funny because they were not a huge deal here in New England. King crab legs, when you have lobster, who needs king crab legs? You know what I mean? They just weren't really a huge thing. And then when I moved to Vegas and then to Phoenix, like, that's all people eat.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
West Coast item.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird.
Jet fresh. They used to call them jet fresh king crab legs from Vegas. What else was I going to say to Nikki? I just went right out of my head. I'm like, oh, seafood. Yum, yum, yum. Where did you grow up, Nikki?
Oh, born and raised in Somerville.
I love it. Well, so you and Dave are natural sworn enemies, right?
Well, because I wasn't from the part of Somerville that was close to Charlestown. I was from the nice part of Somerville.
Yeah, you weren't from East Somerville.
No, from Ball Square. So we didn't really see too many Charlestown.
Lindell's Bakery?
Yes. Yeah.
We're like family.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not. Didn't see too many Charlestown kids.
One of the biggest things I miss during the pandemic is the parties that you would throw.
Oh.
And you have this incredible basement, which basically looks like the Rat at one point in its history.
It's actually not painted. It's just all stickers.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff I used to take off the walls at shows.
And a monumentous thing happened at the last party we were at your house. Well, there were a lot of fun things that happened
There were.
that we're not going to talk about broadcast.
Listen, she's a great hostess.
Yes, she is. Remember this face.
Oh, yeah.
But Dave, I had asked Dave to, I knew he had an amazing singing voice, and of course nobody knew, and he did not have a lot of self-esteem about that. And I had said, if I throw a 50th birthday party, I really want you to sing at it. And he was like, I don't know. But he never sang in front of anybody until your party, because you've got all these great musicians and they all got together and just started playing music. And so people would just jump on the microphone.
It's a cool jam. Like people, they kind of like rotate.
It's like a round
in and out.
robin or whatever. Yeah. So at one point they were playing Elvis Costello, but somebody didn't know the words and couldn't look it up on their phone fast enough. And all of a sudden, my heart was like in my throat, and Dave just grabbed the microphone and started singing Elvis Costello. And we were all kind of like, oh my God, is this really happening?
Remember what song it was?
Yeah, it was Peace, Love, and Understanding,
yeah.
right?
What's so funny about Peace, Love, and Understanding?
But it was a very important moment, because then
it was nice getting some positive feedback.
And it gave him the courage to, be able to.
Not really.
I mean,
it was mostly drugs.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
Drugs.
No, I love that all happened at your house.
That was our last party, and that was probably the best party, because it was probably about 200 people here. And
oh yeah.
That was the time we had our first saxophone player, Terry from Stop Calling Me Frank. Swine.
Yep.
He showed up with a sax, and our first time having keys. Jeff Bloke brought keys.
And the other thing I loved about your party is that there were all different walks of life. There were all different cliques from all different parts.
Yeah, that's what Lorek said.
Wasn't Jason from
Babes and like Babes were there?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, Babes at a set.
All right, so Casey Riddles wants to know what your favorite show you shot so far would be.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite?
No, they're all awesome, because they're all my friends.
Yeah.
I like
that was a smart answer.
No, that is a smart answer. Joe Burke says, I used to live on Mallet Street right behind Lindell's Bakery. Well, you're still a jerk, Joe, but congrats.
You're a jerk because you didn't get me any fry cakes.
Oh, man. And Lewis Warren says, go get it, Davey. Nice.
Yeah,
but that's the thing I love about you, Nikki. You literally brought people together that never would have had conversations before.
It's so funny because it's like when Lorek and Troy from Salem Kids. I was talking to there's like different cliques, and I said to Lorek, I'm like, she's like, who are all these people? I'm like, what are you talking about? You know everybody here. She's like, no, I don't. She's like, you know everybody. I'm like, then I just remembered like that some people don't leave certain
areas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. I mean, listen, the North Shore, it takes a lot to get us to even drive into Boston. Never mind Alston. That's not happening. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. Like we would go to shows at Kodo and we would hardly ever see anybody from like Cambridge there,
Right,
so,
yeah.
and then, there's like super indie bands that just, you're not going to see at a bigger venue. And it really was an awesome mix of people. I almost likened it to JJ Foley's in the 90s, where you could see a bike messenger with a mohawk next to a guy in a three-piece suit that just got out of work, next to a member of the IRA. And they're all listening to, Motorhead on the jukebox, and everybody was happy, so it was kind of like that. I loved it. Yeah. You're like a super connector.
Yeah. Catalyst. You could say she's the glue.
Yeah, I think so.
Holly
Cantor says, Nikki, are you planning on any special shows when music returns?
Well, I guess I'm going to announce my big project for right now. Since
Wait a minute. Is
Nice,
this,
nice.
is this an
official
exclusive?
announcement. Since you guys been to my house and you've seen my gigantic yard, I have a friend who's a carpenter. He's going to build me a stage, and I'm going to throw shows here all summer long.
Nice.
Love it. Well, you know, if somebody else is a carpenter too, if you need any extra help.
I'm going to try. Hopefully the cops don't shut it down. I don't know what's going to go on. But,
Oh man, the conversation that you had with one of your neighbors who was just
Oh boy.
fit to be tied
That
about your little
was
party.
interesting.
That was amazing.
Listen, there were plenty of stories to be had. You peed outside. Anyway,
But we will we'll try to come up with a banner by then and present the show. We'll be like, the Worst Talk Show presents Nikki T presents.
oh yeah.
where's my phone?
Oh no, right. I know, right? Shut up, Dave. So as long as I keep selling fish all through January, February, March, this kid's gonna come in my house in April and build a stage for me.
I
There we
love
go.
it.
There we go.
And not to be outdone with the crowd and the music, the food was also excellent.
That's our pal Anita. That's I used to just go get Chinese food and bring in like tons of Chinese food. And then one year Anita's like, what are you doing that for? She's like, I'll just cater it. So now she caters all the parties. So people are like,
I love it.
I'm like, no, don't bring any food. Because Anita's like on point, and it's always a theme.
Yep. You are, I think you were a born promoter, Nikki.
No, right? I'll say
Yeah.
It's the energy level.
Man.
She's like, like she reminds me of that character, the little kid with the leash on him, like just bouncing off of things, jumping. And,
Nikki, you're the life of every party, and you're such a character, and we're so in love with you. And we're so lucky to have you be part of our extended family. So I wanted to say thank you for coming on and not swearing.
we love you, kid.
But also getting us out to go to the record store, which was awesome. If you're in the Marblehead area, please go to Pleasant Village Records and Collectibles and text me before you go, Facebook Messenger, call me, whatever, and we'll run over and say hi to you, socially distant, obviously.
Right.
And maybe pick up some things. So Nikki T, we love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nikki T, everybody.
Yay!
See you later.
Bye.
Later, Tater. So really, we gushed so heavily about music, and we've already talked about stuff to watch, that at this point we really only have food left. And this is where I need to confess that I purchased something today without Dave's knowledge.
Okay, what's the big deal? I like spices.
We're on a budget right now.
Oh no! Did you black truffle something?
No, I did not black truffle anything.
Oh my god!
What I did do was my auntie Lily had texted me this morning, and she says, "Are you aware of this seasoning?" And it's a vegan seasoning, and it makes anything taste like bacon.
What's so bad about that?
And I bought
expensive?
it. No, it was only $6 or $7, but it also cost that much to ship. So I spent like $14.
Listen,
seasoning.
listen, it sounds a lot more economical than the ray gun I was developing that you shoot things and make it taste like bacon.
Okay.
So
fair enough. I just, trying to, get as much weight off as I can right now, because I gained so much of it during the pandemic. And I'm not eating bacon, but man, would I love my Brussels sprouts to taste like bacon. So we're going to try it out. We'll see how it goes. I read very good things about this whole line of seasonings. And it would be great because I started using sugar-free syrups, or as Dave would say, syrup, in my protein shakes and coffee, and those have been going pretty well. So, so that's my big confession. I bought bacon seasoning.
My confession is that
vegan bacon seasoning.
Forget it.
Mrs.
I'm
Rasher.
not going to say it now.
Yeah, Mrs. Dash, but bacon. Mrs. Rasher. Oh, that's clever. So I'll post a link to that, and if you're stupid enough to buy it as well, we can compare notes next week or whenever it shows up.
I gotta say that I guess it's the Aldi version of like lactated milk. It's whole milk,
Mm-hmm.
but it's lactose free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be my new thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we bought that then.
It tastes like dessert.
We also got another boneless pork butt, and I tweaked the recipe a little bit, and
Perfect.
chef's kiss.
Perfect.
Everybody was in love with it. We still even have some leftovers. I had some from lunch today.
That's only because they've been hidden from me.
That's right. We did the pulled chicken again this week to make Dave's lunches for work. Do you want to tell him what happened at work?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to tell him I fell off a ladder and kind of got dinged up and like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to let them know it was a 6-foot ladder.
Right.
That's just like,
you know,
totally
and I like,
ridiculous.
I don't know, like I was finishing what I was doing and then I was coming down, right? And I like thought I was closer to the floor than I was and I stepped off and there wasn't any floor.
But we've all been there, haven't we? I mean, seriously, we've all made a bonehead move like
Right.
that.
And then you pull the ladder down on yourself and you smash into the ground and
Yes.
like tweak your neck and your back and stuff.
So I get a phone call and he's like, so I don't want you to worry. Anybody
Oh
says
my
that to me.
God.
And I'm
You
immediately
want to talk
on
about
the
mortified?
ceiling. Yeah. He's like, so I kind of fell and kind of hurt myself and I'm on my way to get checked out. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh man.
But he's on light duty until tomorrow.
That's
and
it. I'm
he'll
going
get his
back to the
results
real
back.
thing.
Um,
I'm a paragon of shame.
It happens to the best of us, seriously. I also wanted to just backtrack a little bit and talk about the Juliana Hatfield show. I know Vicky Salapande was there.
It was
a bunch of
nice.
our fellow The Worst Talk Show co-hosts, if you will, because you guys are a big part of the show always on the live stream. We're on the Juliana Hatfield live stream at Q Division. She did the entire album Bed and a few other choice tracks. And it's probably the most charismatic Juliana Hatfield performance I've ever seen.
Very engaging, right?
So engaging, very funny.
Yeah.
And like topical. And we even got a visit from her dog with beautiful, beautiful dog.
And no, but like her it was just her and an acoustic guitar.
Yep.
And
with
she
her
sounded
new short
she
haircut.
sounded great.
Yeah, the sound was really amazing.
And her singing sounded great, apart from the guitar.
Yeah.
So it was just the whole thing.
It was
really great.
It was a really lovely Saturday to hit the store and see Nikki, but then to come home and feel like we were at a Juliana Hatfield show with all of our friends, because I was on the YouTube chat saying hi to everybody. Stacy Sledge was there, and I definitely said hi to Vicky, Holly Cantor as well. And she announced that she's going to be doing another one very soon. I think she's going to try to do one once a month. And what album was it? Is it Only Everything? I'm trying to think of what the
new one she's going to be doing.
Yeah.
I think that's what she said was next.
Holly, you're going to have to back me up on that. But what a wonderful series. Anything that Q Division does, really, I'm all for. So I hope there's more of that for sure.
Good memories.
Yes, absolutely. And just big love and shout out to Juliana. It was nice to see her as well. Vicky says pre-orders for Hatfield's new album are supposed to be up tomorrow. Awesome.
Well, finger on the pulse.
Yeah, Only Everything is next.
Right. Okay, cool.
So Riddles is saying you can learn a language or an instrument in a day.
You can master it.
Yeah.
But you can only do it once. What do you pick? No, meaning you just, that's it. That's the one. You pick it and it's.
But can you like speak the language?
Yes. It's not like just for that day.
For that day. No. I think I would still do the guitar.
Yeah.
Because music, my friends, is the universal language.
Oh God. Can we wrap it up now?
It's mathematical.
I have to go vomit. No, it is.
Oh yeah, and Holly, I forgot to mention the needlepoint guitar case.
Her mother made her a guitar case, needlepoint. It said, does it say Juliana on it?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
With
totally
flowers.
Adorable. Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was a delightful show, and normally with stuff like that, you think that. The chat's going to go so fast and furious and it's all going to be, but it was lovely. There were at least 700 people on there at all times.
Pretty cool.
As opposed to our 10 to 12 that we have on our live stream, but we're no Juliana Hatfield and that's okay. Right. I do want to mention again, we got some more music submissions for music for us to review. We are happy to review whatever you want to send us. Just send it to our Gmail, which is theworsttalkshowlive@gmail.com. But send this music at your peril, because we don't pull any punches. I do not lie about music. I physically can't do it.
Oh
So
man,
if
she's
you ask
brutal.
me to listen to something, I'm going to tell you the truth. And if you're asking me to review it for the show, I'm going to tell everybody the truth. So
She's
if
brutal.
you dare, you can send in your music
She's
to
brutal.
theworsttalkshowlive@gmail.com, and we will talk about it in an upcoming music segment. I can't wait to show you some of the guests that we're hopeful that we're going to have in upcoming weeks. We're very excited about that. If you love the show and you want to support us, the Venmo tip jar is right there at DJNGC. We love you forever. It helps with the underwriting of the show, and especially paying for all our streaming services, which are getting a little out of hand. But that's all we're doing right now. Arthur says, I'm sorry, today music not at all is trash. Arthur, that's just not true. We talked about a new single from Slain that's fabulous, and the new Boss Tone single. So you're wrong, Arthur, and we will prove to you how wrong you are. Good day, sir.
Finally, sir. Finally. Have you no decency?
You know, anybody, it's like people saying there's no good music out there. Everything's crap.
Yeah, bro.
And when music is back, there is an amazing band to see any night of the week in the greater Boston area. That's how amazing and strong our scene is. So if you're saying that, you're just not looking in the right places. That's all.
You're like jaded.
Nikki T says, I'm going to send the new Foo Fighters, but tell you it's me. Fair enough. I'll give you a true and honest opinion. That's going to do it for us. We're going to wrap up the show. Thank you, everybody. No idea who the guest is going to be next week, but we'll hopefully have it done. I enjoyed doing this week's promo for the new show in the Aldi's parking lot, which is our date nights. That was fun. I also want to say a special shout out to my stepson, Dave's son, Cameron, who celebrates 2 years sober today.
2!
We're so proud of you, baby. So proud.
Awesome.
Wow. Yes. And I also want to send out some love. My mom is not doing so well. And so just keep her in your thoughts. She's got Alzheimer's, and it's just one of those things, but love you, Mary. And we're dedicating the show to Mary. So love you, Mom. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.